And we are live. Welcome back to Deep in Love Talks. Tonight we are in Los Angeles, and tonight we have an awesome guest speaker. I am so excited. I have been waiting to have this conversation with someone. So please and thank you. Welcome to my show, Lorraine. Will you introduce yourself? I don't want to waste any time with the boring stuff, so I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead, tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself. Let us get to know you really quick.
All right, so I am Lorraine Giordano. I am in Weehawken, New Jersey. For those that aren't familiar with New Jersey, I live right across the river from New York City. And I'm here with my little Maltipoo Louie, so it's possible if he barks, he might get excited by our conversation. That's who's barking. And an alternative healer, an energy healer. My healing practice is called Inspired to Health, and I've been doing this kind of healing work since I started in 2010, actually, and then I started working on friends and family, and then I kind of really got very serious about it in 2012. Inspired to Health started in 2012. And it's been an amazing journey. So if you looked at my resume, I worked for most of my career. I'm in my mid-40s right now, but for most of my professional career in the financial industry, which I don't think it's a big surprise for me to say that it's testosterone-driven, it's competitive, it's aggressive. And I started off in sales, and then I went into business analysis, product development, working on financial software projects. But what my resume wouldn't really exactly tell you is that for close to 17 years, or a little over 17 years, I suffered with mysterious health issues. There are points when I was 30, I was on disability, on and off for quite some time, and it got to the point where I might have had to go on long-term disability, and I was freaked out by that. So the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And then I made a promise to myself when I was 30. I remember staring at my ceiling and looking at a square white box, having a moment of clarity and saying if I ever got my health, reclaimed my health, I would want to help people with their health and share my story. And it kind of took me an additional decade to kind of figure that out. I guess luckily, in 2008, I went through a very dramatic crisis where I had irregular bleeding, and it turns out that I had uterine hyperplasia with atypical cells. My boyfriend at the time had dumped me by a text. I found out I had uterine hyperplasia, and my doctor told me I needed to hysterectomy and I wouldn't be able to have kids. And then I also found out the root cause of what was making me sick for all that time, all within like a few short weeks. And what it really did is it kind of, it was devastating. I was a walking zombie for a couple of days. And I thought that my life was basically over. And so with all that kind of news and devastation and loss. But in a weird, simple moment, while waiting for a subway at 53rd and Lex, I heard a voice that told me, Lorraine, you don't need to lose your uterus. Love yourself more, treat yourself nicer, and you'll be able to keep your uterus. And from that moment, Operation Save Uterus was born. And I felt like an electric socket that was unplugged for, all that time was plugged back into me, and all my cells were like, hey, you can do it. And that transformed my life. So now I work with men and women, but a majority of my clients are women, and I help them connect to their own healing ability. So I consider myself a healer because I help to heal myself, but we all have that ability for healing and for being an abundant, happy, creative version of ourselves. And I think we're living in exciting times because more and more energy healing is becoming a little bit more, people are more aware of it. It's being incorporated into hospitals. So I think that it's a huge opportunity. So I'm very passionate about sharing those experiences with other people in order to help create, a ripple effect. Because when we shift, each one of us, it creates a shift that kind of ripples out to other people that we can't even really be conscious of it, but it extends out. And I think, Ariel, you can kind of, based on the fantastic work that you're doing, I think you can kind of relate to that.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to pause there.
I caught one word you said, and I caught many words, but I found one word you said that I want to ask you about, and that was you said you were suffering from many illnesses that were mysterious. And so my question is, now looking back on that, do you see those as so mysterious or so random, or can you see the causes or why you were having those type of illnesses? Do you see the connection now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the root cause of my illness that I learned, and I'm writing a book about it, and it's hard to get into all the nitty-gritty details, but I will share that I found out, and this is a very rare condition, but I found out that I was carrying a lithopedion, or let's say a part of a lithopedion, or a stone baby. So for those that are listening that might not be familiar with stone babies, basically I unknowingly, I did not know I was pregnant. So in my early 20s, I had let's call it an inappropriate relationship that was hidden with a man that I fell in love with. And I did not know that I was pregnant. I was also very disconnected from my body in the sense that I didn't go to until I was 25. So my first boyfriend was at 17, so it took me a very long time to kind of take that responsibility for my own female health. And then, I also learned that my uterus was in the wrong position at 27. So those are just some high-level aspects, but basically, for those that don't know what a lithopedion is that if the pregnancy becomes not viable, the baby, and the baby does not pass, the body is that amazing, and it's kind of shocking, but the baby's calcified. The baby turns into stone in order to protect the mother. So in 2008, when I found out that this happened to me, it was completely shocking, kind of gruesome, and devastating. But what it did is that saying, like, the truth will set you free, having that information was huge, and it made me realize that I was still around, I was still alive for a reason. Like, my body worked so hard to keep me around, and so I should probably pay attention to, my body and, dreams of my life that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to.
Gotcha.
So just to add a little bit more. Sorry?
No, go for it.
Well, I was going to say, I'm also, as an energy healer, I'm very passionate about also blogging about female reproductive organ health and the sacral chakra. So, in 2014, there's still a huge amount of taboo related to a woman's period, to even talking about what goes on down there. And so I think it's important because, and I can say that because I was ignorant, I was very disconnected, and I used to curse out my period, and I would be in excruciating pain, and I'd just pop Advil, and I would just plow through my day. But I think it's important to really kind of talk about some of these taboo topics and shine more of a light on it to bring more awareness. There was a research in the UK that I think over 50% of the women and female adults that were polled couldn't identify where their ovaries or label where their ovaries are located, and they also felt I think 60% weren't comfortable saying the word vagina or vulva with their doctor. So the impact of that sort of shame or guilt or hiding, I don't think that empowers women to kind of take responsibility for their bodies and be proactive in their health.
Absolutely, absolutely. I actually, on a personal note, I went through several years of not having a period, and I was doing numerous blood work and ultrasound, so many different testings, and so many friends and outside people were like, "Oh, you're so lucky! You love it, love it." And I hated it. And the moment I started having my monthly menstruations again, I was very grateful. We don't realize that that's part of us. It's our womanly. It's what makes us a woman, you know. And so,
Yes.
during that time, I learned to change my perspective on it, and I very much appreciate the cycle we go through. I bless myself, but every time because I am healthy now, and I appreciate, and this is part of me, and a part of being a woman. And so that's interesting that you said that.
Honor, really.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cool. You talked about, you said you're going to write a book, so you're working on that right now,
Yes, yes.
and that's going to be your own story?
Yes, I'm writing a memoir. It kind of gets into, because I do think part of my, to be able to carry that information about the baby for all that time and, kind of that was hidden, let's say, I think that I think I hid from my emotions a lot, and the sacral chakra relates to emotions and creativity, joy, passion. So I kind of get into not only my physical challenges, but also my emotional challenges that I kind of shut down on. And working with a lot of women in my healing practice, emotions, for a lot of women, we tend to, rather than let them flow, which this area is about, like with our periods and with the sacral chakra, the element relates to water, which relates to letting things flow. We tend to shut down and clamp down on it rather than kind of expanding and letting things kind of flow. So I get into that. I worked with 10 different alternative healers during the course of the year, during Operation Save Uterus, and I get into my experience working with those. As an example, I worked with a didgeridoo healer, and I've learned over the didgeridoo is an ancient Aboriginal horn, and a lot of women who might not be having their period, where their period stops, the didgeridoo sound, the frequency, helps women to get their rhythm, their cycle back with their period. So information that I kind of picked up along the way that I don't think is common knowledge per se. It's not like you hear that on the news or see that in People magazine, but I think it's important information to share. So that's part of my story.
That's very cool. On a side note, have you heard or studied Louise Hay?
Oh, yeah.
Your books,
I love
You Can
her.
Heal Your Life, You Can Heal Your Body?
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
amazing book. When my first DNC, where the doctor told me that I had atypical cells, and then 6 months later I had my second one. I allowed myself some time to heal, and I originally thought that I was just going to go back to my normal life, and after I got the good news that all this, I no longer had atypical cells, I realized there was still more healing to do. I could go deeper. It was great that I got to save my uterus, but I could go deeper in my healing. And one of the Reiki healers I was working with recommended You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And it's an amazing book. Affirmations are tremendous. So valuable. They made a big difference in my journey. And I think you're a big fan of affirmations as well.
Yeah. Words have amazing power. And so that's back at the beginning when I asked you about the mysterious illnesses, and that's where I was going with seeing the connection that they weren't so random.
Oh, no.
It all relates to center, a self-love or lack of self-love, a lot of the illnesses that we have. I always tell people when they're having a hard time, I said that's because there's lack of love in that area. And so you need to send that area love, whether you're having headaches, eyesight, whatever the illness is. I know it's much more than that, but that's the first approach I always say is there's a lack of love there that you need to pay attention to. Your body is designed to be functioning, healthy, and whole, and to heal itself. And so when there is lack of functioning properly, love needs to be sent there.
Yes, I completely.
You have a couple things I want to.
100 agree.
I want to. Oops, sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say I want to talk about tips for energy centering for girls.
Tips for energy centering.
Yes.
All right. So what I find is that I would say the most common thing that I've noticed in my practice is that a lot of us were in our heads, so the energy is very concentrated up here. So, are you familiar with EFT? Mm-hmm. Emotional freedom technique?
I've done it many times.
Yeah. So I'm a big, just a part of the crown pull. I have a lot of people that, so if you put your fingertips on your temples and then you squeeze, inhaling, exhaling, pulling out, and the exhale, I find that helps to kind of break up the energy. As far as focusing on the sacral chakra area, my tips are since the element relates to water, well, actually, sorry, I'm going to start with that. But some tips: water, orange. The sacral chakra relates to the color orange. So eating foods that are orange, carrots, yams, foods that represent orange, helps the vibration frequency as you receive it. It helps to balance that area. Dance is really helpful for the sacral chakra. I'm a big fan personally of belly dancing because belly dancing reminds me, a lot of our lives were based on structure. We look at a lot of squares. So if you think of your computer, your phone, TVs, buildings, it's very, there's lots of corners and there's a lot of structure to it. A circle, which kind of represents the softness, the curves, allows for a different kind of energy. And what I find a lot of women, because our energy is very masculine still, I think we're kind of coming into a feminine energy for balance. But, dancing, curves, soft, something soft to kind of change the rigidity of the structure that we're kind of used to, helps to balance. And I'm a big fan of talking to my organs, visualizing and talking to my organs. So sure. Especially my female organs. So when I first found out I had atypical cells, I saw a lot of weeds and darkness in that area, but like taking some deep breaths and kind of really connecting to that area and setting an intention about what's being communicated, what's being shown. And then if you don't like what you're seeing or feeling, changing the picture. Our subconscious is very powerful, and so it has a huge influence. So if we can direct energy to kind of change our pictures, feelings about what is being presented, it has a powerful impact. I also noticed that a lot of women, they might have had difficult childhoods. So, the womb is a cave, and it's a source of creativity. So as far as, again, creating the picture that you want to see, but also if there's things that you've kind of hidden and tucked away and pushed to the side because you don't want to deal with it, I would recommend connecting to your inner child and spending some time with your inner child, your inner you, whether you're a man or a woman, and kind of having a conversation with your inner child, asking it what it needs and trying to have fun. in some way. There appears to be, because people are very busy, there doesn't seem to be a priority of having fun in day-to-day life. And so I really stress with the people that I work with to really, it's part of being healthy, and it's where you can derive inspiration from, by taking those moments to have fun, whatever that might be.
I love it. It sounds, there's a
so those are some.
I love them. There's a meditation that I do almost every night, and I actually run an in-person support group for those battling depression and suicide. And one thing we do, it's called the body scan, or the self-check. And we sit there and we breathe in and we breathe out, and we're pulling healing, loving energy from our core, from our center. And then we're just sending love to every single part. And I start with the head chakra and I work myself all the way down, but I'm sending love to my hair, to my eyes, to my ears, to my cheeks, to my neck, my ears, my fingers, and we just go all the way down, sending love from ourselves, from our core, out into every inch and dimension and space of our bodies, all the way down to our toes. And that's something I love to do often with my support group and myself personally, because we don't realize.
And you can feel that.
You can, and you're so right. We spend so much time stuck in here. And I'm like, you need to breathe and let it go and send some love. And I'm like, when was the last time you said, feet, thank you for carrying me? And my organs, thank you for functioning. And my butt, you allow me to sit every day. Sending love to all parts of us.
Yes. I do the, I don't know if you ever heard of the unity breath meditation, which is kind of connecting to the Mother Earth and Father Sky and sending out love to yourself and then out. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And like coming together with groups, that's so powerful as well. Meditation circles, the sharing, the community, the energy that's created by, and going back to the circle, sitting in a circle, it builds powerful energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the Robin Danielson bill. Can you explain to us what that is all about?
Yes. So right now there's an opportunity, and it's low-hanging fruit. And I'm very passionate about making women aware, and men too, aware, because women might not be aware that the products that they're using on a monthly basis, tampons, pads, feminine hygiene products, the FDA doesn't require them or require companies that make these products to disclose the ingredients that they're using. So, and it's because that they're considered a medical device, but there's been research done by some groups to they've realized that making pads and tampons rayon or synthetic fibers using rayon produce dioxin, which is a cancer-causing agent. So right now there's a bill before Congress. It's called the Robin Danielson Act. It's on change.org. I'm going to put this up for a second. I don't know if you can see it.
Nice.
Yes. So it's a petition before Congress. It's the 5th time that this petition has been presented. So it's going on decades that this has been in the hopper. And what this bill will provide is information to women about all the ingredients that are being used to produce these products. You know, common like Always, Tampax, all those brands that you see all over the place. And they'll have to disclose the ingredients and also disclose the health risks associated with it. So because they're using cheaper synthetic fibers, again, there's the issue of dioxin, which is a cancer-causing agent. There's also links to Hi.
You back?
Yes.
No worries, there was a blip. We lost you.
All right. So birth defects, even allergies. So there are potential health risks of these products that are not necessarily, women don't have the information right now. So this bill, the Robin Danielson bill, will get companies to disclose the risk and the ingredients. And so again, like I said, this has been presented. The bills had different names, but this is the 5th time. Thankfully, to the Society of Menstrual Cycle Research, they created the petition. And it just takes a minute to sign the petition. If you go to change.org and look for the Robin Danielson Act, you'll be able to quickly sign the petition. If you want to call your congressman or congresswoman, that's great too. That would be awesome. But I guess and to know that they have this choice and that they can be involved in getting this information. You know, we just wrapped up, September was National Gynecologic Cancer and Ovarian Cancer Month, and this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I mean, I think it's great that that there is this awareness going on, but I think there needs to be, you know, the more information upstream, let's say, the healthier and the more opportunity for health can be, you know, held on to rather than down the road.
Absolutely. Especially the more and more we talk about it and make it well known, we can reduce the stigma around these type of issues and concerns.
Definitely.
I love it. I love it. Our time has flown by once again. I always love to ask this question, and so do you have a quote that you live by or a mantra that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I have many, but the one is the universe is conspiring in my favor, and this universe is conspiring in your favor. The universe is conspiring. And then if I could throw in one more. I like to,
yes,
if there's something new that I'm doing, I like to, my mantra is, wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun to go on Ariel Caputo's Deep in Love show? Wouldn't it be fun to talk about and bring awareness to this? It kind of shifts the energy. So
absolutely,
the universe is conspiring in your favor, and wouldn't it be fun?
I love those too. Lorraine, where can we connect with you?
All right, you can connect with me. My website is Inspired to Health, and you can find me on Facebook at Inspired to Health, and it's with the D, Inspired TO Health, and I'm on Twitter and Pinterest. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Do you do one-on-one coaching, or do you do group settings? Do you go to public spaces and give speeches? What type of work do you do?
I do one-on-one, and I do Skype and over the phone, and I do meditation circles locally, and I see people in one-on-one in New Jersey and New York, but you know, over the phone, or you know, energy is energy, so space and time, it works out really well over the phone or on Skype, and maybe even I'll look into Google Hangouts now too.
And this is a new avenue.
I missed that?
And so this is now a new avenue you've just mastered.
Thanks to you.
Nice. Well, thank you, Lorraine. It's been such a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure too, Ariel. Thank you so much.
Go ahead. There's a slight delay here. Let me finish your thought.
Okay. I was going to say that I am working on some online seminars that are coming up. I'll keep people posted on my website. That should be coming up in the next few months. And yes. So thank you so much, Ariel.
One last question. When can we be on the lookout for your book?
I am hoping to finish it up by the end of January, and then I would say by the fall of 2000, actually by the winter of 2015.
Nice. That's a good goal. I just had my own book came out in January, June.
Congratulations on your book.
Thank you. So it was a very fun journey and a very fun goal. It was very worth it.
I downloaded it, and it's really inspiring.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I'm so happy to hear that. Well, Lorraine, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for all that you do and for being a voice to those who aren't ready to be a voice yet, and for continuing to heal and sending love into all areas of the world. So thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing, and you have inspired me. So thank you once again.
Thank you. You've inspired me.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.